Hey, what's up YouTube? So recently I've had some issues cranking the FJ Cruiser upon startup. Over the past 2 or 3 days, every time I'd go to start the FJ, it would crank kind of slowly and sluggishly, and you can just kind of hear it struggling a little bit. It's been at least 4 years since I've owned the FJ Cruiser, so I'm overdue for a new battery anyway. But we're gonna take a look at the battery and I'm gonna show you what I'm seeing before we go out and buy a new one. So let's go ahead and get started on that. All right, while I'm here in the FJ, I'm just gonna turn the key. You'll see the gauge here. I've got a digital voltmeter here on my Android head unit, and it'll show you the reading here. Just kind of a nice little feature to this head unit. You'll see here it's sitting at 11.2 volts, which is clearly not enough to crank an engine. So definitely the battery is low. And then just to kind of give you a sense of what I'm experiencing here, I'm gonna go ahead and try to crank it, and then you'll hear it you'll hear it clicking. All right, so that's a sign of a dead battery. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna push the FJ out, and that requires accessing the shift lever. Obviously, since the engine isn't on, you can't engage the shift lever, so what you got to do is remove this cover piece here, this gray cover piece. I'll lift it up, and now that comes out. I'm going to keep this in a safe place. You can see here there's a little button here, which you've just basically you're going to push down on that black button, which will allow you to engage the shift lever. So then I'm going to have someone sitting here push down the button and then engage it into neutral, and then I'm gonna push it out from the front here. That'll give me access to the hood. And by the way, this is the perfect use case for my little light here. Got the Lume Cube light, which has a magnetic back, so I'm gonna place it there at the top of the hood, and it's giving me just enough illumination to work on this battery here. All right, before I do anything, since I'm working with the battery, just want to let you know I got my eye protection and my gloves on, because you don't want to get any battery acid on your skin or on your eyes. So let's protect ourselves here. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 10mm and remove the bolt on the negative terminal. I don't need to remove the entire bolt, but I can loosen it enough so I can pull off this terminal, and there it goes. Next, I've got my positive terminal. Okay, now that's out. Looks like this one needs a little bit of a cleaning. I'll move this aside. I'm gonna remove this bracket. Now I can't really get to it with my ratchet because the ratchet is too short, so I'm going to use some pliers to kind of loosen that up. Okay, and again, I don't need to pull off the whole thing, but this will loosen up this little bracket enough to get it out of here. Alright, so I'm going to place that aside. Now I can access my battery. Alright, now it's coming out. I'm going to give you a look at where these brackets were hooking onto. This little hook hooked into this thing right here, and then this hook on the other side hooked into this little hole right there. I'm actually going to take this opportunity to clean this tray. And then if you look at my positive terminal, it's pretty filthy. I'm going to take a little bit of sandpaper and kind of scuff that up a little bit, just to kind of get a better connection. If you had a wire brush, this would be an ideal time to use it, but I don't. So sandpaper is going to have to do. squeeze this guy in here. That should do a sufficient job. Alright, well, I think that's an improvement over what we started with. Alright, so here's my new battery. Now I've read that these terminals on brand new batteries may have some coatings on them, so I'm going to take that same sandpaper, just going to wrap it around, give it a little twist just to kind of clear off any of the potential coatings that might be on there, just to give it a better connection. Alright, so the battery tray is going back in. I noticed that it has these indentations, these little tabs which correspond to those two tabs there, so that the tray doesn't slide around. So I know that it goes here. Here it is. Tray is situated, now it won't slide around. Alright, I'm going to replace the bracket now. I'm just tightening the bracket. Alright, this battery is not moving. I don't want to over tighten it because I don't want to I'm going to crack the battery or anything. But next I'm going to replace the red terminal. Now for the negative. One other thing I like to do is I like to add a little bit of silicone paste to the terminal connections here, and that just helps prevent corrosion. This here is the 3M silicone paste dielectric grease, so I'm going to get a little bit on my fingertips and rub it on the post here. Just put a little thin layer. Okay, so now that our battery is back in place, I'm going to go ahead and test it with the multimeter. Now we're at 12.54, which is close to 12.6, but 12.6 is what we are looking for. This is close enough, so I'm confident that this will start. So I'm going to go ahead and start this now and put it under a load, see if we can check on that alternator. Here is I'm sitting inside of the truck, and you can see my voltmeter is reading 13.7. I'm going to put a load on it, so I'm going to turn on the headlights, turn on my USB power, got my heated seats going. As long as this voltmeter does not drop below 12.6, then it tells me that the alternator is doing its job. So in the end, that's how you change an FJ Cruiser's battery. Alright, just another look at the battery voltmeter here. It's up to 14 volts here. It's been about 2 days after I've installed the battery. There's the analog gauge, which is definitely higher than what it was before I installed a new battery. And then there it is, hovering around 13.9 to 14 volts. So I guess indications are that it is a healthy alternator. If I'm wrong, please feel free to let me know, but I think I'm okay for now, and hopefully it'll be good for the next 3 to 5 years. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful, and thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.